Hello and good evening, and welcome to Rally Tal Sports. I am Corey James, and with me, as always, wait a minute, no, solo show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Todd and Bobby got some stuff going on. Prayers up to Tig, Todd's cat. We need some good vibes going for Todd's kitty Tig tonight. And Bobby had a tournament on his Bobby Slay page. If you're not following Bobby Slay yet, go ahead and follow Bobby Slay. He was doing a Warzone tournament, I think it was earlier today. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been on in general for a while now. So wanted to jump in here, get a little show in tonight. I missed you guys. It's good to see you. I don't see you. It'd be weird if I could see you right now. Good evening, Brian. Appreciate you dropping by, brother. Yeah, last time I saw you guys was a few days. It was like almost a week. It was the Tuesday before the Super Bowl, I think, was the last time that I saw you. You can't tell now due to this whitewashed light that I got on, but I was in Cabo. Got a little suntan. I swear to God, I do have a tan. I promise you that. Speaking of Cabo, it is National Margarita Day, which I did partake in earlier this evening. Two very tall and delicious margaritas. Right now we got a little Mickey Ultra, so give the people what they're looking for here. Beautiful. So it's been a while since I've been on the show, but it's also been a while since I've done one of these solo podcasts. Before I joined up with Rally Tal Sports, Line to Gain was its own entity, right? I was doing my own show, and Todd and Bobby were doing their own show on Rally Tal, and they brought me on board, and they got some stuff going tonight. So I figured, let's get back to the roots. Let's do a little Townhall Tuesday just with old CJB over here. So it's gonna be a good one. The focus tonight is Townhall. I want to hear what you guys want to talk about, whether it's football. I know it's all wrapped up now. If you have anything that you want to, that has since come up about the Super Bowl, I want to hear about it. Whether it's coaching changes as of late or the Aaron Rodgers lack of news, if you will, that was supposed to come out today that didn't. His cryptic Instagram posts, whatever. Or if you're looking ahead to 2022 already, if you already got your eyes on the next season for football, that's awesome too. Let's talk about it. If you NCAA, I will try and bring it up for NCAA basketball. We can talk a little bit about that, or NBA All-Star Week. The NBA did their All-75 team. Baseball's working on getting this agreement done. They already pushed spring training back. So we got a lot on the table for you guys tonight, guys and gals tonight. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow Rally Tal Sports. That would be fantastic. Like the video so we can get your friends in here. And if you're feeling super frisky, go ahead and share the video as well, which I will go ahead and do. Oh, we already got some likes rolling in. Rick Eba jumping in. Ricky, I missed you, man. I haven't seen you since New Year's, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Brian liking the video. Jaden liking the video. Jaden, I haven't seen you since Kansas City. Hope you're doing well, buddy. It was a hell of a game that we went to there. Oh, so we got a good show lined up for you, but I want to hear from you. Jump in the chat. Let me know what's burning on your mind. And since I haven't talked to you since the Super Bowl, I thought this would be an adequate spot, being that I'm by myself and I can just ramble per usual. And to talk a little bit about my feelings about that game. I was at an all-inclusive resort. So the Modelo Especial was flowing. Literally, they set it up perfectly at this place down in Cabo. They had like a ballroom with like a bunch of projection screens. And they had a wait staff coming around, and I literally had like Modelo's lined up on the table. They would not allow me to be thirsty. in Mexico. So I appreciate them. The people of Cabo are great, very hospitable. Jalen with a comment, do you think the Bengals can land Titus Howard? Now, Titus Howard plays guard for the Houston Texans. The Bengals obviously have a need at addressing the offensive line, and that's something that we'll talk a little bit about as we get into my therapy session here. But I don't know a whole lot about Titus Howard. There is another Houston Texan that we're going to be talking about a little bit later when we get into moving forward into 2022. But I don't know the deals behind his contract. Is he a free agent? I don't know anything about it. I can look it up real quick. We can take a gander at that so we can touch on that later tonight. Pull up Sport Track. If anybody if you're ever one of the best websites. So Over the Cap is really good. But also Spot Track. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. One of my favorite websites in terms of looking at contracts. So I'll try and pull that up here in a little bit. We can talk a little bit about Bengals moving forward and what they're supposed to do. But first off, I mean, pretty disheartening, right? Wind out of the sails moment. If you're a Bengals fan, which I know not everybody here that follows Rally Tal and joins in the chat, I know you're not, but obviously I am, and pretty disheartening moment to get to the Super Bowl, the pinnacle, and to lose it's tough, man. It was hard. I disconnected from social media for a few days. I stayed off Twitter really hard. I couldn't see the replays. I didn't want to watch anything. I didn't watch any Sports Center. Thank God I was in Mexico. It was really difficult to get sports highlights. But even if I was like, end of the night cramming through the channels and, CNN Deportes or whatever, I'm not sure what it is, but the Mexican version of CNN. And they pulled up a highlight. I go, next channel. I had to stay away from it for a little while. It was tough, man, and especially because we had the lead with, under 2 minutes to go, basically, and it went away. But, looking back on it now, I've got a little bit different perspective. As we're a couple of moons removed from that game. Hell of a season. Absolutely one hell of a season. And listen, if there's any solace or anything that you can take as a Bengals fan, you have to understand every NFL season ends poorly for 31 teams. There are 31 teams, 31 fan bases, 31 cities that at the end of the NFL season, they didn't get what they wanted. Now, some feel a little bit better about it, right? Some teams feel better, at the beginning of the season, if you said this and we achieved that, how would you feel? I kind of feel that way about the Bengals, though. After we're a few days, multiple days removed, over a week at this point, removed from this game. And I look back on it and I think if at the beginning of the season you had told me I have two options. One option, the first one, we can just play the season out and see how it goes. Or option two, the Bengals are going to get to the Super Bowl and they're going to lose. Which would you take? I think I would go with option two at the beginning of the season. I think that's what I would go with. Sorry, getting a random text from the wife here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I would sign up for that at the beginning of the season in a heartbeat. The Bengals are going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to lose, but they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Why would I sign up for that? Why would I just sign up for that now, you ask? Well, because before this season, I had never seen the Bengals win a playoff game. In my entire life, I hadn't seen that. And after a few days removed, or a few rounds into the Super Bowl, right immediately after the Super Bowl, you feel like a loser. You feel like a failure. You feel like your team is terrible because you lost. At least that's how I felt immediately after the game. But that's not the case at all for this team. I mean, the future is so bright in Cincinnati, and the blueprint is clear, ladies and gentlemen. The blueprint is very clear. Going into this previous season, the 2021 offseason, going into the season of 2021, the one that we just completed, there were a lot of question marks. Is Jamar Chase going to be Jamar Chase? Is he going to be what he was in college? He had a year off. A lot of people forget that. He had a year off of college. Is he going to be what he was at LSU? That was a question mark. The defense. The Bengals defense was abysmal. They'd been abysmal for the last 2 seasons under Lou Anarumo. What are they going to do? Are they going to get better? Are they going to be a little better going into the season? Well, let's address those 2 points real quick. Jamar Chase is a top 5 wide receiver, and the Bengals defense, led by Lou Anarumo, is a top 5 defense, statistically speaking, in the NFL. Check. Those 2 things are good. Major question. Wasn't really a question for me going into the season. But will Joe Burrow bounce back? He had his knee completely ripped apart more than halfway through the season last year. Will he come back? Will he be Joe Burrow? And we saw that happen, and then that person didn't come back, and Carson Palmer. We saw Carson Palmer absolutely light the league up his first year in the season, in the league. Well, first year starting. I mean, leading the Bengals to one of their best records in a very long time. A home playoff game against the Steelers. First series, knee is blown out in the playoff game. Comes back. He's not the same Carson. We've seen it. As a fan base, we've seen that happen. So that was a question mark. For me, the amount of cat hair that is on my mic right now is baffling. For me, it wasn't really a question for Joe Burrow. I kind of felt that he was going to be that guy no matter what. And he proved that that was the case, being a, statistically speaking, top 5 quarterback this year. I don't think anybody can really dispute that. Now, would he be top 5 if you had to win one game right now? In my opinion, yeah, I'm a homer, but I think there's some people that would argue there's some other guys that they would take ahead of that. Nonetheless, statistically speaking, Joe Burrow, top 5 quarterback. Check. Defense, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. 3 questions that were answered. The major question, the main thing that the fan base, the national media, and probably the Bengals front office wanted to answer this year was the Bengals offensive line. What is the Bengals offensive line going to do? And this is me speaking prior to this season that we just completed. What are they going to be able to do this year? Are they going to keep him upright? Or is Joe Burrow going to get killed? They passed on Penei Sewell. Jackson Carman, I get, cool. I mean, didn't, character issues prior to being drafted, doesn't, lazy. This is the talk about Jackson going into the season. I'm not saying any of it's true. I'm just saying that was a conversation. Didn't really test well athletically. The tape's iffy. Short arms. Whatever you want to say about Jackson Carman. And they took Jamar Chase. They went for the flash and not the muscle here to keep Joe upright. Well, the offensive line was bad. Statistically speaking, they were bad. We got to a Super Bowl despite them being one of the worst offensive lines in the league, if not the worst. But that said, the offensive line is still bad. So out of those 4 questions, we've answered 3 of them. We as the Bengals fan base and organization and the team and everything. The Bengals have answered 3 out of 4 of those questions. So moving into this offseason, the immediate needs are much less. They've checked a lot of boxes already. They know what they have to do. The defense is sound. The offense is young and can strike. You've got your quarterback. You've got your wide receiver core. You've got your running back. Now it's time to shift your focus. In the first 3 years of Zach Taylor's tenure here in Cincinnati, if you go back and you look at what they've done in the offseason, you go back and look at what they've done in terms of free agency versus the draft. Just go look at those 2 things, and more in particular, free agency and the first 2 rounds of the draft. In free agency, they have almost exclusively gone defense. It's just been what they've done. And they needed to. And in doing so, they have completely retooled this defense. If you were to look at the defense right now, the Cincinnati Bengals, how many starters do you think are on that team that were drafted by Marvin Lewis? In the meantime, while you ponder that, I'm going to check and see if we got any more shout-outs to give for tonight. People dropping by. Rick, Jaden, Brian, thank you guys again for liking the video. If you haven't already, like the video, share the video, follow Rally Towel Sports. I love you guys. The answer to that question is 2. There are 2 starters on the Bengals defense that were drafted by Marvin Lewis, who was the coach 3 seasons ago. Sam Hubbard and Jesse Bates. Sam Hubbard got his extension. Jesse Bates is up for one this year. Franchise tag period started today, meaning teams can franchise tag players now that have expired contracts that are restricted free agents. So, the defense has been completely retooled. Jamar Chase shattered rookie records. He broke Bengals single-season receiving records, post-season rookie records. Jamar Chase is the real deal. There's no question about it. If you had any doubts, if you're a hater still, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Open your eyes. Jamar Chase will likely be a first round, if not early second round fantasy draft pick next year. I would go out on a limb and say that. I don't even think it's going out on a limb. I would just say that. Then Joe Burrow, comeback player of the year. I mean, you're not comeback player of the year unless you have a good season. So he had a great year. The only issue is the offensive line. But free agency, they addressed the defense over the last 3 seasons. They've completely retooled it. The first 2 rounds of the draft, however, have been almost exclusively offense. And those are your premium picks. Your first 2 rounds, those are your premium picks, especially if you're picking in the early parts of the round. If you're picking 1 through 10, those are your blue chip players. 1 through 5, even better, which the Bengals have done the last 2 seasons prior. They picked 5 last year. Obviously, they picked number 1 overall the year they got Joe Burrow. In that draft, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Prior to that, Jonah Williams. Alabama, LSU, Clemson. That's where those players are coming from. Now, I don't know who specifically the Bengals are going to be targeting yet. I'm not even really looking at the draft yet. I'm still thinking about free agency a little bit and getting over this loss, this Super Bowl loss, the first one I've seen, the third one that my parents have seen. And but I do feel confident in saying this, and I've been saying it for a while. The Bengals going forward are going to shift their focus. They're almost going to flip what they've done in free agency and in the draft. They're going to invest free agent money, cap space, potentially draft capital, into the offensive side, particularly in the offensive line, tight ends. I think those are the gaps on the offensive side of the ball. And that's what you do with free agency, ladies and gentlemen. You sign for need. You draft for talent. That's what you do. That's how you build a healthy roster within the salary cap program. You sign for need and you draft for talent. That's what we do. And that's what I think the Bengals are going to do. So I look for them. In an ideal world, I would say the Bengals could sign 2 medium or average to above average linemen, 1 tight end, and go out and draft a corner or an edge rusher or even an offensive lineman in the first round. And if the Bengals are able to do that this offseason, and it clicks and it works, say they bring back Riley Reef at right tackle, Jonah stays over at left, they go out and sign, there's a myriad of interior offensive linemen available right now. Go sign Ryan Jensen, the guy out of Tampa Bay. Go sign him. Slide Trey Hopkins over to right guard. Quentin Spain at left guard. Jonah Williams at left tackle. That line is already better. Say you don't even re-sign Riley. Say you go ahead and reach and go get like a Laramie Tunzel from the Houston Texans. You go out and sign him. Kick Jonah over to right tackle. And go get a Ryan Jensen as a center from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then kick Trey over to right. You got Quentin Spain at left guard. I think that is a immediately better offensive line. If we're able to get to the Super Bowl with what we just got, guys that probably wouldn't even start on some offensive lines throughout the league, and you go out and sign 2 top 5 at their position potentially, top 10 at least at their position, that team's going to be scary. That team is going to be scary. So the game itself, talk a little bit about that. I think the defense played amazing the whole game. The Rams had no opportunity to run the football. And that was the blueprint. And we talked about that going into the game, that if the Bengals can shut down the run and try and make Matt Stafford beat them, he's going to throw interceptions, and the Bengals are going to be able to capitalize on those, which happened. Stafford with 2 picks, I believe. Joe Burrow, none. And what it really came down to at the end was the Bengals' offense lack of ability to capitalize. There were 2, if not 3 possessions that the Bengals had where they could have extended it to a 2-possession game, and they failed to do so. And I think that's a little bit, you're seeing that lack of red zone threat with a tight end. CJ Uzomah's great. He's a great locker room guy. He's not a jump ball guy, though. He's not a Gronkowski or an O.J. Howard. He's not you could continue to just go down. He's not a George Kittle. He's not a Travis Kelce. He's not one of those guys where you get into the red zone and they're worried explicitly about CJ Uzomah. CJ's really great at sitting down in the zone. His communication with Joe Burrow, them being on the same page, that's where CJ is really great. And the off-script kind of stuff, or reading the defense and sitting down in those spacing routes that they run quite often. That's where CJ excels. And that's what the Bengals are really missing. Time for plays to develop, offensive line, and that tight end that can really draw coverage, draw eyes, and when he doesn't, go up and get a ball in the red zone. And I think if we can improve. I'm not saying that the Bengals need to have an elite tight end. I'm just saying if they can improve that aspect of the game. I mean, CJ Uzama, I think he's like 28, 29 years old. He's not a really old guy. He's got some tread left on the tires. I'd love to have him back in the locker room. He could continue to be a great asset. But I think if the Bengals can get a little bit more of a red zone threat, whether it's a cheap prove-me deal for somebody like an O.J. Howard or shit, Gronk said he would love to play with Joe Burrow. Let's not get crazy. But I just think that could really, really elevate this red zone offense. A little bit more time for Burrow and a little bit more threat out of that interior spot from the tight end. So that was really the difference. And honestly, I mean, I am still just completely baffled by that holding call on Logan Wilson. On 3rd and goal, I mean, I don't know how you throw that flag. I'm going to come out and say it. I don't know how you throw that flag. And Chad, if you disagree with me, if you got something to say about it, please, I'd love to hear it. But I've heard it all. Well, T. Higgins held Jalen Ramsey's face mask on the opening play of the second half, and they missed that one. Really? Well, earlier on in the game, Jalen Ramsey held T. Higgins on an interior post route. They didn't call that one. They weren't calling shit all game. Nothing. It's the 2 least penalized teams in the league, the Rams and the Bengals. 2 least penalized. That officiating crew, least amount of penalties throughout the entire season. They were one of the least penalizing officiating crews in the entire league, was that crew. And you throw the flag then. I don't know what else Logan Wilson could have done to be more legal. Put his hands behind his fucking back, jump forward and put his face mask in front of the ball. Is that what he should have done? I have no idea. No idea. And that guy was playing a lights out game. I mentioned the Rams couldn't get anything going on the run. Logan Wilson is a massive reason why. A massive reason why. I that bothered me a lot. You know, if you give that Rams offense any more opportunities to score in the red zone, they're gonna do it, especially in a goal to go situation. They have the weapons to do it. Cooper Kupp is the weapon. He's Super Bowl MVP. He's a great football player. Don't want to take anything away from him. That wasn't holding. It was a legal, great defensive play. And I tell you, if that call doesn't go down and the Rams go for it on 4th and goal and they don't get it, obviously, hindsight, whatever, and the Bengals end up winning that game. I was sitting there in that ballroom in Cabo telling the guys I'm sitting around, Logan Wilson could end up being the fucking Super Bowl MVP right now. The way he's playing, he could end up being the MVP of the Super Bowl. And I still believe that. So you know what we did? We being my family. We got a golden retriever on Saturday. We've had him for almost a week now. Great dog. Good boy. Of course he's a good boy. We named him Wilson. The should have been Super Bowl MVP. Wilson Burrow James. He's a good dog. But yeah, man, that was a rough go. That was rough. But the future is very bright. Like I said, I would have signed up for this result at the beginning of the year. I got to watch my team do some amazing things over the last few weeks, and I was there at the AFC Championship game, and a lot of memories with my family and friends over the last few weeks. It was a blast, and really, really excited about what 2022 can offer. So it's going to be fun, Bengals fans. Buckle up. Get ready. Because your team is the most bet-on team right now in the NFL to win the Super Bowl next year. Cincinnati Bengals are. Fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bobby, thanks for liking the video, brother. Appreciate you dropping by. Felisa Dario, thank you for liking the video. I've never met you or talked to you, but I appreciate you for liking the video. Thanks for dropping by. But Felisa Dario, you could say hello as well. Jump in the chat. Yeah, it was a blast though. Great football season. Looking forward to 2022. The blueprint is clear. Bengals need to address the offensive line. They need to start drafting young, cheap, affordable talent for the defense, just to build for the future. In that regard, particularly corner is what I'm looking at. I think a corner and an edge rusher would be great for the first 2 picks, depending on how aggressive the Bengals are in addressing the offensive line issue in the free agent realm, which is what I would prefer, honestly. I would rather that they go out and sign proven talent than drafting and developing talent, because it takes too long to do that, in my opinion. And we're in win now mode as the Bengals. You are in win now mode. The next 3 years, you need to win a Super Bowl. That's what you have to do. Burrow's in his rookie contract. Higgins is in his rookie contract. Jamar Chase is in his rookie contract. Boyd's in a cheap extension. Mixon's in a cheap extension. Let's go. Let's get it popping. Jaden with a comment here saying, what do you think about Sauce Gardner? And where do you think he'll go in the draft? Well, I think he's going to be a first-round pick. I think that's pretty clear. Sauce Gardner out of the University of Cincinnati allowed 0 touchdowns in his career at UC. I mean, just a stud. I think he could go as early as late teens. And listen, we got a lot. I mean, these projections are, excuse me, I just kind of burped into the mic there. Sorry about that. These projections are complete bullshit once you get past 3 at this point. In my opinion, we have so much to go. The combine's about to come up. There's just a lot that's going to happen between now and the draft. So I could say right now I'd project him late teens to late 20s is probably where I would see him going. Does he slide to 31? That would be dope. I would love if Sauce is there at 31. I think the Bengals take him. That would be sick. That would be so sweet. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is there if they did take him. I think the Bengals like that. I think they like cultivating that, bringing those guys in, Ohio boys, if you will, quote unquote. I'm not sure where Sauce went to high school. But it'd be sick. I'd love for the Bengals to take him. I think he's a great corner, though, to answer your question more directly. I think he's great. 0 touchdowns allowed. I mean, you can't bullshit your way through a college career and not give up a touchdown. There's no way to do that, especially as a starter. So, excited to see where his career goes. Regardless of where he goes, I'm going to be paying attention. And that's another thing you've been hearing, that there's a lot of, there's not, the quarterback class this year isn't going to be great. And we're going to be doing our Rally Tau Sports draft prospects, coming up here in the early parts of spring. Actually, I mean, shoot, we're going to be doing that here in the next few weeks. Draft season is literally 2 months away before the draft, which is crazy. But I'll be doing some quarterbacks. I'll be doing quarterbacks and corners. I think Todd is probably going to do offensive lineman and defensive lineman, I think is what we talked about. If Bobby wants to jump in and do something as well. I think I'm also going to do wide receivers. So I'm going to do quarterbacks, corners, and wide receivers. I did wide receivers last year, and I really, really liked it. I think I got most of it right. Pretty confident. I had my rankings last year were Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Rashad Bateman. I think I got that. I'm pretty confident, and I think those are still the top 3 out of the rookie class. If you don't feel I'm right on that, you can let me know. And don't just go look at Rashad Bateman's stats because he got hurt, for you fucking casuals out there. So we'll be doing some draft talk later, but other news in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers yesterday putting out just like if you could like subtweet on Instagram, that's basically what he did. And just put out like some soliloquy about his love for his, I can't even remember his girlfriend's name, Shailene Woodley or whatever the fuck her name is. Girl from The American Teenager or whatever that was on Fox Family or ABC Family. Showing my age there. That girl. Big old paragraph about that and about his teammates and I love everybody and it's been a ride and da-da-da-da-da. And then news break, he's going to be on the Pat McAfee show today at 1:05 Eastern. He's going to be on the Pat McAfee show. Everybody come and watch. Over 150,000 people jumping in and watching the Pat McAfee show within the first 3 minutes. Aaron Rodgers. There's going to be no news today about my future. Okay. I've done, what is it? Pachakarma, I think is what he's done. It's a cleanse. And it's an Indian cleanse. It's been around for thousands of years. So yeah, I've done that the last few off seasons. I Googled it. Do you know what it is? Panchakarma. Do you know what it is? It stands for like pancha, I think is like 5, and then karma is like treatments or something like that, or practices or something like that. So like the 5 practices or 5 treatments or 5 remedies or something along those lines. You literally make the first step, I think, is you make yourself throw up. And then the next, like you like take a bunch of stuff that makes you throw up to cleanse out through the mouth. Then you shove shit up your ass, and that makes you shit to cleanse out of your butt. And then you snort stuff up your nose that makes you cleanse out your sinuses. And then you shove more stuff up your ass. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And Aaron Rodgers does this. And he's talked about it. But he's like, yeah, I do Panchakarma. And then I fucking Wikipedia that. And it's weird. I'm sure it works. I'm sure he's healthier than ever. It's fucking weird. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's been around for 1,000 years. I'm sure it fucking works. It's fucking weird, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers does hallucinogenic drugs. I'm so confident in that. I've never been more confident in anything in my life. There's 0% chance that this fucking Northern Californian Cal graduate that had frosted tips and a gelled haircut with a fucking 5'4" fade going in the NFL draft. Now he's got long flow like your boy, and he's just talking like this. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm doing this Indian cleanse. He does drugs. Aaron Rodgers does drugs. It's a fact. I heard it here. Just saying. Jaden saying, I regret that. I regret looking it up. It was interesting. We'll just put it at that. It was interesting when I looked it up. I'm fucking done with him. I'm done with Aaron Rodgers and his getting comfortable here, ladies and gents. I'm done with the mentality of like the league needs me. And we've talked about this before. I'm done with like, yeah, maybe I'll be back. You'll just have to wait and see. But I'm not going to drag it out. That's what he said. He said going to the house, he's like, I'm not going to drag it out. You know, it wouldn't be right to do that to the team. And then he posts this big fucking thing on Instagram. And then it's like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Pat McAfee show. He's going to come on. Let's tune in. Everybody tune in. Yeah, there's not going to be any news. But I'm not going to drag it out. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to drag it out. No, I won't do that to you guys. I'm too much of a professional. Get fucked, Aaron. What a total dickhead. But he did make a comment more back on the football kind of things. He he made a comment that I think has some validity to it. Today, and I think it's him putting a little bit of pressure back on the Green Bay Packers. Today, like I mentioned earlier in the show, is the first day that you are allowed to franchise tag players. Well, the Packers have somebody that is no longer under contract that could be franchise tagged. Probably the best wide receiver in the league, Davante Adams. And I think Aaron is probably waiting to see what happens with Davante. Because if Davante Adams isn't there, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is there. And maybe if Aaron Rodgers isn't there, Davante Adams isn't there. So maybe they're feeling things out with other teams. And, I'm sure their agents who are very experienced in this league are probably talking to other people around the league and seeing, hey, what would we get here? Or, what do you think about this or this, that, or the other? So I'm sure there's a lot going on behind closed doors to where both these players are going to get what they want. I'm running out of gas here, but I don't see a situation where Aaron Rodgers is back at the Packers and Davante Adams is not. I could see Rodgers going somewhere without Davante, but more of just like a help out my buddy and get him a contract. I'm going to put some pressure back on the Packers. That's kind of where I see that situation going right now. What else you got for me, chap? What else do we want to talk about? Recouped on the Bengals. Oh, quick shout out. I haven't had the opportunity on the show. I put a post up, but everybody that purchased or was part of our Super Bowl squares, it's fantastic. We were able to raise $410 for St. Jude's, which, if you don't know, they help out children that have life-threatening diseases, and they work towards researching those. But more than that, they help the families with housing and food and bills and whatever. Anybody that's at St. Jude's, they don't pay for anything, and none of the families pay for anything. Their message is when your child is sick, that's all you should have to worry about. You shouldn't have to worry about all these other things. And so for a Rally Towel Sports family to come together and help raise money for an amazing cause such as St. Jude, and I've had the benefit of trying to raise money for St. Jude for a long time, ever since I've been in college as a Sigma Nu. That's our national fraternity, the fraternity's charity. That's who we constantly give to, St. Jude. So it's great. Continue that, and shout out to Charlie Lehman for selecting that as the charity. And our highest donor is Will. Got him on here somewhere. Will, get with Bobby. You are our highest donor for this charity, and that means that you, sir, get to pick the next charity. We have a fundraising goal this year of $1,500, and it is February 22nd, 2022, 22222, and we are almost a third of the way there. So that is fantastic, amazing effort. Got to keep pushing. And break through that ceiling of $1,500. That would be awesome. Last year, just over $800 raised between Line to Gain and Rally Towel Sports. And now that we are one, we're going to keep growing this thing and keep raising money together and talking about sports and having a great old time. So, going forward for Rally Towel, just to give you a little bit, Line to Gain as a show is going to probably take a little bit of a break. We're going to do a little bit of Line to Gain here and there with your football talk. But as we get out of the doldrums of winter and head into spring, we've got some exciting things coming for you. Our new basketball show, In the Post, is going to be debuting. We're going to be focused mainly on NBA. We'll touch a little bit on college basketball, obviously, with March Madness coming in. kind of similar to Line to Gain, just more of a basketball show. So if you like the NBA or you're just curious about the NBA, we're going to bring that same small market approach. Oh, you're losing me. We're going to bring that same small market approach that we do with Line to Game, just on a basketball side. So I'm a Jazz fan. We're talking about the Utah Jazz. Todd is a Pacers fan. We're going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers. Not sure who Bobby's into. Maybe it's the Cavs. Not 100% sure. Cavs are a great squad right now. Probably talk a little bit about the Cavs. So that small market feel that we got from Line to Gain, we're going to bring that in to In the Post. That's going to be our basketball show. And whenever they do finally figure out this lockout situation with Major League Baseball, a fan favorite, Ring 'em Up, it's going to be back. Ring 'em Up is going to be coming back here, hopefully, in the next month or so. Obviously, spring training's already been pushed out. I think March 3rd, something. I can't remember. Anyway, spring training's already been pushed out, but as soon as that gets confirmed, we're going to get Ring 'em Up back. We're going to start talking baseball. We're going to start talking basketball. We'll still sprinkle in a little bit of Line to Gain, giving you your draft talk and all that good stuff. But it's going to be a fun spring as we approach the warmer months. With basketball playoffs are going to get going. March Madness is going to get going. The Masters are going to get kicking off. It's one of my favorite times of year for sports, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And really appreciate everyone that's been along the ride with us so far. And look forward to what we're able to accomplish in 2022. And really appreciative, specifically for all the love that we've got for our Line to Gain show. And looking forward to you guys bringing that same energy going into to next season. So with that, I'm getting out of here. I'm yawning on air. It's ridiculous. So unprofessional of me. But I will see you guys Thursday. I love you. And peace.